Entertainment, we celebrate the 43-year reign of the speed metal kings, Metallica. With 9 Grammy Awards and 14 nominations, 38 concert tours worldwide, and 11 studio albums that span 4 decades, the Titans of Thrash remain the standard by which all other metal is measured. We begin with a 1984 classic from their second album, For Whom the Bell Tolls, followed by the 1992 tour anthem, Wherever I May Roam. And now, let's turn down the house and light up the stage for the Auburn University Marching Band and their show, Metallica.
It is Wednesday once again, and I am here. As you can tell, this could be a very interesting show for all of us, but it's Wednesday night, and it's Auburn Family Night. This is the show that's all about you, the Auburn family, your comments, your questions, and your calls for however long we can do it this evening. That's up for debate right now, but thanks for hanging out with us. Let's get into all those different things right now. War Eagle, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together and we talk about the Auburn experience. That Auburn experience for us is all about a few different things: Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff, as you've heard my voice crack 1,000 different times already. And go ahead and make your jokes now. It's just going to be that way throughout the entirety of our time tonight. We get together on most Wednesday nights to sit down and talk with you all about this Auburn experience. And on Wednesday night specifically, we make it about you, the Auburn family, wanting to hear from you specifically about what's on your minds, what's on your hearts. I know there's probably some frustrations out there after last night's basketball performance. All of that's fair game and much more. And we'll discuss a little bit about what's going on with me, what's been the delay on a lot of our content over the last couple of weeks, and much more. But first, what I'd love for you to do is make sure that you smash that like button as you're coming in here. It's a huge help to us. Lets people know that we're live. Even on the replay, they can come back and check this thing out. And the more likes, all this stuff, you guys know the drill. We also would love for you to participate in the chat tonight. Please do make sure you take part in that. We'll try to take as many comments as we can this evening. As you might imagine, we may not do the full hour show. I am very much under the weather, and my voice will only last so long. So we'll see how long this goes this evening, and what's been going on with that. So let me jump into that first. Most of you guys know that I was on vacation the week previous to this one. Had a great time and really enjoyed the time off. Sad that we missed some incredible basketball games during that time period that we weren't able to cover fully for you guys. But it seemed like everybody was having a pretty good time without us, regardless of all of that. So I enjoyed our time away, but at the same time, I am not as thankful for what I brought back with me. As most of you saw on Sunday evening when we did the Auburn Experience show, I was fine. Had no clue what was about to hit me. For the last, well, I guess it's 3 days now, but essentially 48 plus hours, I have been dealing with what essentially is the flu. And it ain't fun, folks. The voice part of it, of course, hasn't been that bad until today. But the reason I'm even coming on and you having to deal with my raspy voice and weak voice right now is because this is the first time that I've actually had that we've been able to. We got audio. Y'all get me all freaked out. No, Mike is the one that's freaking me out. Sorry, but that's why we've missed on some other things. A post game stream yesterday. I was waiting for the one person to be a jerk and come on the streams, the first stream that we got an opportunity to do, and be like, "Oh, you didn't do a stream after a loss." No, jerk. I'm actually dealing with the flu. We haven't had that person yet, but I know that they're coming. Anyway, that's what's been going on. I have been under the weather extremely for the last couple of days, and it's been a wild ride. All right, enough about me. Certainly we can talk about that if we need to, but that's what's been going on. Vacation brought back a sickness with me, And certainly that's putting me behind the 8 ball a little bit in terms of schedules and stuff like that. But like I said, I won't guarantee I'll stay on the full hour tonight, but I felt like I owed it to you all an opportunity to get on here and reestablish our normal schedule of things, especially with basketball season, the regular season effectively ending this Saturday, which is a sad thing to realize, folks. It really is a sad thing to realize. We have, and maybe I should pause that for a second because there is a certain element that I want to open up with and talk about something that I think since yesterday has been transpiring with that loss. But anyway, I've gone this in roundabout ways, and I've gone about this in roundabout ways and things like that. I want to hear from you guys. What's on your minds? What's on your hearts? All that kind of stuff. And we'll get into a bunch of different things. Lots of people checking in. Appreciate you guys being here. Let's see here. WT says you sound nasally. Yes, I am nasally. All the different things. I am struggling a little bit and trying my best to give you guys some semblance of a quality show despite the raspy voice this evening. So you guys can take advantage of the call-in link tonight, and please do. I would love to hear from some of you guys. It'll give me a chance to rest my voice for a little bit. This is one of those times where I always kind of badger y'all to take advantage of this thing that we give you on Wednesday nights a little bit more often. This is a great time to take sympathy on Kyle and give him a little bit of a break from the speaking role tonight and take a call. And I know some people have already started lining up for that, so we'll do that in just a second. By the way, another little cool element. How do you guys like the new-ish setup? Experimenting with it still a little bit. You saw this on the Auburn Experience show with me in Austin earlier this week. So the setup's a little bit different. It's not drastically different. And for the Auburn Experience, it is because we used to be the two side things on there. Now we're side by side. This is very standard to what we had, but it's a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more coherent. Obviously, we got some things set up where we right down there in the corner, we promote our Patreon, but we can do sponsorships and things like that. I always like to get people's perspectives. Is it stupid? Is it cool looking? It's one of the good things about when I go on vacation, I get ideas and I finally start pulling off some things. So anyway, so that's out there on the table. Let me start off with this and we'll take our first caller. Thomas, thank you so much. What's going on, sir, with the super chat? Appreciate you so much. Hey, and I saw Micah here. That's funny. Yes. Micah is the resident Bama fan. And thank you, Thomas. I don't know if I specifically said it, but thank you for that super chat. The basketball game last night. First of all, I was in a pretty down space in this sickness last night, which probably was the hump of me getting to where I am now, where I have some energy. So I was already not in a good mood, and then I watched that last night. But one of the things that I have feared, I've seen narratives throughout the season building up to this point, is this concept and idea that if Auburn doesn't do X from this point forward, it's somehow a failure. It's somehow, and we're talking about the men's basketball team, it's just not good enough. And while there's some conversation around that can be had, I disagree vehemently with that. What we have witnessed this year with this basketball team is unprecedented for Auburn, at least. Historically, who they have faced, the caliber of teams they've placed in non-conference and in conference play, what they still have on the table left to do, what they've been competing for as individuals, as a team. And I think sometimes we lose sight of that when we get so eager to get that ultimate goal that we don't take the time to sit here and enjoy that. So I'm kind of harkening this back to how I started off the show a little bit, trying to put some sentences together through the sickness here about how we need to remember this season's almost done. And we've been witnessing and living through, witnessing this historic season that I think we need to take a little bit more reverence of, I guess is maybe a way I should say it, or have a little bit more respect for than some of the commentary that I've seen out there. So anyway, Let's see here. WT said yesterday's game does not bother me. I was expecting a letdown following them winning the regular season. Just a little something to focus on for UA. Potentially, yes. Um, and Beaten Lake says, unfortunately, Broom is having a slump. Thankfully, it's not during the tournament. Mazzara had a slump. He's good. Pettiford had a slump. He's now good. Broom will be back. Well, I think every player goes through highs and lows of every single game. I think it also is warranted to say he continues to tweak that injury that continues to pop back up. And you can only imagine that if you're playing through it and dealing with it the rest of your career, that every time that happens, it takes a little bit more off of you. Um, you know, I don't know what people want the kid to do more than what he's already done. He's powered through a lot and been, the best player in college basketball to this point. He probably won't win it now, as some people have pointed out, considering his slump kind of came together in two really mediocre games for him statistically. But I think there was a lot of overreaction, as tends to be. Everybody wants to have the hot takes and excuse me, and tweets and all that stuff last night, but I didn't have the energy to deal with a lot of it last night. All right, we're going to take that call here in a second, so my voice can get a little bit of a break here. But let's see. Let me catch up. Take care of yourself. Don't try to please appreciate what you're doing and dealing with my shenanigans. Oh, we're all good here. Yeah. I wanted to pop on tonight because I miss doing the post game streams with you guys. I hate that I had to miss 2 for vacation. I missed the third because we had a delay in getting back, and by the time I got back from vacation, that date getting back from vacation was the Saturday of the Kentucky game. It just didn't make sense for me to do a live stream. Had plans to do one last night before I got sick, and then it just didn't happen. So we would have done it last night, but I'm thankful I want to do that one, at least as far as I know, that late for the rest of the season. I have heard that Jalen Williams and Chuma will be in Birmingham this weekend in G League games. Anyone who's going, wear your orange and blue to show support. Absolutely. All right, let's take our first caller and give my voice a chance to rest. And you guys, please do take advantage of the call and link tonight. It'd be much helpful to help rest the voice so we can have a decent show. Y'all don't have to listen to me wheeze through everything tonight. All right, there he is. What's going on, Kevin?
Welcome back.
Well, thank you for welcoming back. I sound great, don't I?
Yeah.
Let me tell you what, you don't want what I have, buddy. You had the flu lately or anything like that?
No. Sometimes upset stomach. That's all.
Well, let me tell you what, you do not want the flu. It is not fun, and it'll give you upset stomach, other things, and other things.
How you like the Kentucky game?
Like that Kentucky game a whole lot. If we all were riding those good vibes after that Kentucky game, weren't we?
And we're going to beat Alabama Saturday too.
Well, I would say the precedent has been set that Auburn is better than Alabama, given the fact that we beat them at their place.
I think Alabama got beat tonight.
They were losing at one point. I'm not sure where they're at right now.
Yeah.
Much to, I think, many people's chagrin. I don't pay attention to people who are in Auburn all that much.
Auburn softball girls is real good this year.
I think softball and baseball have been quite impressive to start off the year. It's hard to know exactly how good they're both going to be, but right now they're both beating teams that they probably weren't expected to beat early, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, they're 20-1 now.
And same thing with baseball. I mean, 1 loss, I believe, is what it is at this point, which is
11-1.
So great start for both the Diamond sports. We got a lot of things to be happy about in the Auburn experience.
And Big Cat Weekend is in April.
I know that's weird to think the Big Cat is going to be in April this year. I mean, it makes sense because I think they're doing it with 8A weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I can't wait. 8A game. I'm going to it.
Yeah, aren't you glad? There was a rumor they were going to get rid of spring games at one point. I'm glad they don't seem to be having a lot of steam behind that. I'd miss the spring games, wouldn't you?
And Deuce Knott is wearing number 9.
Oh, he is? Okay, I did see the post about numbers. I didn't really
Robbie
I've been
Ashford gave it to him.
oh, well, I don't know that he gave it to him, but he Robbie Ashford hadn't been around to give anything to anybody for a while, but um I didn't really read into that
Is
too
he still
much.
at South Carolina?
I don't think so. I think I had read he transferred again, but I could be wrong. I'm definitely could be wrong about that.
And I think you will see a different Auburn football team this coming season.
Well, yeah. I mean, you will definitely see a different team. Now, how good that team is or bad that team is up for debate. I do think it'll be a much improved
I think
team.
Cam Coleman might be in New York.
You talking about for a Heisman?
Yeah.
Woo! That's quite the prediction. He is a great talent. I don't know that I'm ready to call a Heisman on him yet, though.
I hope Terry Thompson and Bryce Kane and the rest of the bunch catches the touchdown passes.
Yes, I think we got a lot of options. Horatio Fields. You got the new kid from Georgia Tech. What's his
Sam
name?
Turner.
Singleton. And
We got Sam Turner too.
Sam Turner's a good. No, you got a lot of good options out there to throw the ball around to. So no lack of options for quarterbacks of any type at Auburn right now.
And I think our basketball team might go to the Final Four.
Well, I would say that everybody's probably not as optimistic about that right now at this moment, given last night. But I think if you take things in stride and look at the whole picture of Auburn basketball and college basketball right now, you realize that Auburn has only lost to quality teams. Two of those are likely 1 seeds at this point, Florida and Duke, or at least Duke is. I don't know what the outcome of the Florida-Alabama game is right now. And then, Texas A&M at one point was going to be a number 2 seed, and they might, if they continue to play well enough, who knows, they might be a 2 seed by the time this whole thing shakes out, if they beating us on their resume. And then they went out, they go on a big run. I don't want to face them in the tournament. I do not want to face them at all. Like, just neither tournament. I don't want to see Texas A&M again. I do not want to face Buzz Williams. He's too good of a coach. He's got Bruce's number, and I think, and that's no shade at Bruce. Bruce, I think, would say the same thing. There's just some coaches that coach really well against you, and
I hope we get
yeah,
Denver Jones back.
Yeah, it's a great point, and I'll go on a different talking subject about that once we're done with your call, because I'm glad you reminded me of that. I want to say a little something extra about that too. But any other final thoughts from you, sir?
And my prediction for this Saturday's game will be like in the 80s.
So give me a specific Auburn, Alabama score.
88-73.
88-73. You heard it here first from Mr. Kevin. As always, sir, we love talking to you, and thanks for calling in this evening with us. All right.
And who you think will be offense player of the year in football offense?
I'll tell you the answer that you want me to tell you is Cam Coleman.
I think it might be him.
It might be him. It might be him. All right, buddy. We'll talk to you later, buddy. But thanks for calling in, okay?
Hey, get well soon.
I will. I'll do my best. Thank you so much for the kind words.
War Eagle. Bye.
War Eagle. All right, that was Kevin. Woo. Goodness. Yes, you all can call in too if you want to take pity upon me, as Kevin did, to give me a little bit of a break. You all can call in too. Hit the link down there or in the top of the chat on YouTube. It should be somewhere in the chat on Facebook if you want to do that. It's really simple. You don't have to be on camera like him. You can just be the audio version of it as well. Click the link. It tells you to put your name on there. You can put whatever name you want to on there. Call in and join the show. Woo! Voice is really getting crackly, as I've noticed here. Let's see. The Alabama game won't affect anything if we lose, but I still think it's really important to win, gain some momentum for the SEC tournament. Yeah, I've seen a lot of this commentary about, and I know some of it's not even really that serious. It's just, it's people need things to talk about. But all this discussion about should even Auburn take the tournament seriously or things like that, does it set it? I never understood this mentality of like checking the box and just we heard a lot of this back when it was leading up to the first Alabama game. Should we drop one? Or if you had to drop one, which would it be? We'll just win them all. Like, just win them all. That's it. It doesn't. That's all your focus needs to be as a team, but as fans too. That's what the focus needs to be. None of this planning for the worst. And I know that's the Auburn mentality, but trying to help break us of that cycle that we tend to be in from time to time, I feel like. All right. While I still have a voice, let me get this part in that I wanted to discuss. But you guys keep your questions and comments coming. This narrative that had way too much legs for far too long. And please, when I say this too, I'm going to be discussing directly about two individuals on this team. And in no way is it meant to diminish or elevate necessarily the roles of either on this team. It's going to sound like I am doing that for one or the other, but I'm also trying to help people understand that sometimes when we say things online and stuff like that, and we believe these narratives because it makes you sound good around the water cooler, it really doesn't to the people that know what they're talking about. This narrative that Tahad Pettiford needed to start over Denver Jones ended last night. No shade to Tahad Pettiford. Tahad Pettiford is one of the best first-year talents that we have ever seen. He is a great talent. Just can light it up from three, drive to the basket. I think he's a pretty good defender as well. He ain't no Denver Jones, but he is a great basketball player. But just because you're the flashy, easy thing to talk about because it's a freshman phenom thing doesn't mean that you're the right player to get this team off on the start it needs to get on. And that will change with time with Tahad, in my view, the longer he sits here. But if you need any more belief or any more proof, I should say, that if you go with this narrative that Tahad needed to start over Tahad, you were shut down last night. And if you continue on that narrative, you just don't look good, in my opinion. Denver Jones, I think you want to talk about who's the glue of this team? We found out last night. And I hate to admit it, because a team really shouldn't fall apart when one player goes down. And I wouldn't, frankly, I know this it's not a hot take, but I know people are going to have a problem with saying this. They didn't fall apart last night. They just ran into a literal buzzsaw in Buzz Williams. He's a great coach who gets a lot of great talent. Hey, they had a lot of seniors, older players. Maybe there's something to this. I'm just saying, folks, if you're not respecting Denver Jones enough to not even trying to, push him aside at this point, you got shut down last night, and in good ways. And nothing to knock on Tahad. I think Tahad had a great game for the most part last night. I think he was doing the best he could with what he had to move into a role of last night. All right, let's see here. Unbeaten Lake says, I will bet Buzz Williams is getting his team hot again for the tournament. They get hot at this time every single year. Would not be shocked if they made it to the tournament final. Yes. I do not want to face Buzz Williams in the SEC tournament or the NCAA tournament. If we do, I will probably throw that as a toss-up based on how we are currently playing at that time. But you can bet one thing, that if you run into Buzz Williams, you will be running into a buzzsaw at this time of year. All right, our next caller is ready to go. Let's get him in. We haven't heard from him in a while, but here he is. Mr. Manville, what's going on, sir?
What's up, y'all? Warrior.
War Eagle, I'm hanging in there.
Buddy, I feel you. I feel you.
You had the flu lately?
No, I have not. I hadn't had the flu in a couple of years, thank God.
I know. I feel like I get it every 5 years at this point. It's like I build up that immunity to it, and then it finally the new one has built up enough past whatever immunity I built, that tiger blood as I call it. But anyway, so this is my year this year.
I just stay away from people and stay away from the flu shot as much as I can.
It's real easy to do, except when you go on vacation around a bunch of people, and I found the wrong people.
Well, if they were Auburn fans, you're all right, right?
I probably saw one Auburn person. Somebody asked me that, I think on the Sunday night show, if I'm not mistaken, and asked if I had a War Eagle moment. And I said, I can't really recall. I know I didn't have a clear War Eagle moment, but maybe there was one in passing, kind of like where we quickly acknowledged and it just didn't stick out to me. But I feel like I usually get more of those when I go on a week-long vacation. I didn't get that many this time.
You might have just been in the wrong spot. We don't know. We don't know.
You never know, man. Well, I didn't see a lot of Bammers, and so that's good.
That's a plus.
That is a plus. All right, what's on your mind, sir?
Well, since you brought up Bammers, let me tell you a story from work this past week. I had a different ball cap on. I had a Birmingham Bulls hockey cap on. I had my Auburn shirt on. So the colors don't match, first off, but who cares? I'm supporting my teams. And a customer came into work and said, I really like your Birmingham Bulls hat. And I said, thank you. I appreciate it. She said, but I really don't like your shirt. I said, you a Bama fan? He said, yeah, Row Tide. And I said, I didn't know y'all could read. And I was the person get so mad over a jab. Like, this is college sports. You're going to get jabbed. But that just speaks to the character.
And she just literally led with a jab too.
Some folks ain't built for real life.
I will never understand that. Is that when someone comes looking for trouble and they find it, you're like, you came here with that energy. It's the same notion that and we saw that you probably witnessed this a lot during last year's football issues and stuff. People will bring that type of energy in here, and they're shocked when the host will give that energy back to them. Like, so you think it's okay for you to give that energy, but when it's given back to you, oh, heavens, how dare you give me opinion about my opinion? So anyway.
When you hold yourself higher than you should, and somebody knocks your feet out from under you, you respond as a child. So there it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah. Have you seen old Charles lately yet?
No. I know he's been in town. One of his best friends from high school, son, is on a TV show right now.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been doing a lot for that and sponsoring a lot of events, things of that nature. But I haven't seen him personally in a little bit. But when I do, I'll definitely give him a War Eagle and a Roll Green Leaf.
I was going to say, Charles was in Atlanta, which I don't live too far from, recently. And so a fellow Auburn person happened to be in the location that he was in and sent me a picture of Charles. And I'm like, we got to talking back and forth about him. I was like, look at him compared to you right now. Look how large of a human he is. And imagine this. He's older now. They say you shrink a little bit as you get older. Imagine when he was, at his prime and his spine didn't start compressing a little bit, how much probably broader and stockier he used to look and stuff like that. So we were discussing that a little bit earlier this week via text, and I was like, I'm happy they got to see Charles. And I thought of you a little bit when they shared that picture with me from this week.
Yeah, Chuck's a great dude. When COVID hit, he provided computers for all of the students and leads so they could uh, adhere to COVID protocols and still get their schoolwork done and graduate and whatever they had to do. But I will respond to Micah, but he ain't talking about you specifically. I'm just talking about what I deal with as a whole.
Oh,
It may
yeah.
be different where you live, but where I live, it's there's a lot of really uneducated athletic people, and
Yeah.
that goes for any team, goes for every team. There's UAB fans that think they're going to win it all this year. I get it, bud. I'm not calling
Hey,
y'all out. I'm
hey,
calling some of y'all out.
UAB needs to go a decade without losing their football program before they come into any conversation.
Well,
I
yeah,
know it's not their fault. I know.
you're right. You're right.
But
Let's touch on basketball real quick.
yeah, man, what you got?
In all honesty, I'll let you take a talking break. Let me just vent.
You go. I'm sitting back. Go ahead.
Honestly, I honestly do not care what our record is. I don't care what we do in the SEC tournament. I don't care what we've done up to this point now. The only thing I care about is what we do in the tournament, how far we go. Do we win a Final Four? Sure, that's great. But who cares if you made it to the dadgum Final Four? If you're not winning national championships, then why am I talking about this program in a positive manner? We are here to win. Doesn't matter what sport it is: golf, track field, tennis, tiddlywinks, football, basketball. I don't care. Unless you win in national championships and consistently being in the fight for it and winning them, in the fight and winning them, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care what our record is. We could lose another 3 games. I don't care. We could bow out the first round of the SEC basketball tournament. I do not care. All I care about is getting into the NCAA men's basketball tournament and going all the way down to the end of it and winning a national championship. I can't stand the fact that people are like, oh, we made the Final Four. We're great. You still didn't win anything. All you did was get close. So why in the world would I be happy with getting to the Final Four? I'm not happy with that. I'm happy with winning a national championship. Had an opportunity a couple years ago, West Virginia had a foul that was a legitimate foul. Virginia may have double dribbled. We know college basketball referees. It's never going to be right. It's just not. But all I care about is getting to the national championship and winning the national championship. And I don't care what sport it is. I am Auburn to the dadgum core. All I want to do is be the best. I want Auburn to be the absolute best at everything. And that takes work and that takes time. So I don't care if we go out in the first round of the SEC basketball championship. I literally could not care less. All I care about is months down the road if we can win a national championship in basketball. And does that mean we're better than anybody else? No. All it means is we're the national championship that year. So guess what? Next year we better step it up because everybody else is going to step it up. So we better win it.
Yeah.
And take that down to football. All I care about is getting in the playoff and getting to the national championship and winning it. So if anyone here as a fan of your team or a fan of Auburn is okay with not winning it all, we got to talk. That's what we're here for, is to win it all. That's the whole. That's what sports is about. Is being disciplined, athletic, strong, and steady enough to win national championships. So who cares if we lost to Texas A&M last night? They're not the best basketball team in the country. So what? We dropped the loss. Who cares? You're still little brother this season. We got an opportunity to go to the tournament and play well. And I wouldn't mind if we lost one and sat some players, did a little rehab. got people back in the groove, got people healthier. The goal of being an athlete is to win it all.
Mhm.
The goal is not to be good. The goal is not to be. We were close. Close is not there.
Yeah.
Close, not there.
Mhm.
So who cares unless we win it all? If we
Let me,
don't win Natty, if we're recruiting, it might be a successful season. But if you don't win it all, then you didn't win it all.
mhm.
So that's my point.
Let me take what you said. Woo, if I can get it out. And because having gotten to know you over the last several years and stuff, I can actually read between the lines with you too about what your heart behind this is, and not just the statement. Because I think, I made a statement earlier that it probably got what you said there. I will vehemently disagree with what you said. No, I'm here to win. I'm here to win a national championship. Period. Said, done, over with. That's you go out to win the game to win the national championship. That's why you play the game, first of all. But I also think there's a disease in college sports and amongst the Auburn fan base too, of not appreciating what has been accomplished already. And I think sometimes that manifests itself in certain sects of our fan base when we don't know how to behave in certain unfortunate circumstances and things like that. What Auburn has already accomplished this season, it needs to be admired and needs to be commended and talked about and celebrated. Not in a we've accomplished, we've we've crossed the mountaintop, but Auburn has a decent basketball history, but it's not Duke. Let's be honest. It's not Duke. It's not North. It's not a traditional blue blood. But there are certain things that, because of Bruce Pearl, because of Bruce Pearl, but B, because of what they've gotten through those years with him, they now are the new blue bloods, a part of a new group of blue bloods. And a lot of those are in the SEC now. So the only part that I disagree with that a little bit in is that I do think is important for us as fans to celebrate and admire and speak openly about those things, about how important that has been. With the caveat, we're here to win the national championship, period. Over, said, done with. Now, I hear you about the SEC tournament, that it don't mean anything to you. It means something to me, dang it. It means something to me. I'm here to win everything. I'm here to win tomorrow or Saturday. I'm here to win every single game in the SEC tournament. I'm here to win every single game. When we go out there, I'm here to win the day. I'm going to win what's in front of me right now. And I think this isn't even about you, but I'm talking a lot about narratives and things like that I've seen out there. There's been a lot of focus for Auburn fans I've seen this year about things that are so far beyond. Like, they were fretting about, is Tahad Pettifer going to leave after this year? I'm like, why are you worrying about this right now? Like, what does that solve? Like, he's here right now. I'm sorry that you're scarred by Aiden Holloway leaving. We got the better end of the deal. I'm sorry, we did. So enjoy. There needs to be a balance of enjoying, having reverence of what is being accomplished, while also keeping your eye on the prize. They're trying to, as a team. They certainly had a slip back this past week, and I think they will correct that. What has Auburn basketball done this year? Every time they've had a slip up, they have responded, not just in kind, but exceeding that. And so I think that we're going to see that. I think that they know what's at stake for them. I also think that pressure's mounting a little bit, because it became, when you're holding the mantle of, we are the best team in college basketball, heavy is the crown, and heavy is that the weight of that. But anyway, I went on several different rants there because I'm in sick brain right now, so I don't even know if that made sense.
You made perfect sense, man. I completely see your side of it, and I'm not disagreeing with you. Just my point is, if you don't win it all, to me is I'm not going to say I'm an athlete. I'm a former athlete. I competed in middle school and high school sports. But if you don't win at all, then it wasn't good enough. That's just my. I'm not saying it has to be every Auburn fan's point. That's just my point. If you don't win at all, it's a failure. You know, second place is second place. You're not on top of the hill. That I'm not going to try to convince somebody else that you have to think that way, that you should think that way. I'm just talking about me as a human being sitting in this dining room chair that I've rigged up to get in here on this video call.
No, you look good in that background. Let me let's dig into this a little bit. I like this. So let me get with that mentality in mind. And just talking here. Should we then not celebrate the 1993 undefeated season for football?
We should, because of Sacker.
But we didn't win at all.
No, we didn't. But there was well.
Should we not celebrate the 2004 team? Do you see?
You're right. There are bullet points that have kept great teams. 93, a sack of groceries took every hope of us taking. I mean, let's say none of that happened. Let's say we won the Natty in 92, 04, and let's say we didn't screw it up against Florida State in the second half.
Yeah,
that's what, 5 Natty football.
Yep.
Put you in the upper echelon.
Yep.
But we don't have it.
Yep.
So we can't say that we're there if we don't have the accolades.
No, I got you.
We can split hairs all night, but dadgummit, I want to win it.
No, I know.
Every single time, no matter what.
No, and I don't. I like your perspective on it, because you're not so unreasonable that you can't have a conversation about it. And that's why I pressed you a little bit on. I was like, I could see, and you recognize that it can be a little bit of a slippery slope in terms of where that stops, but you got to have bullet points, you got to have exceptions, all that kind of stuff.
Arguments are when someone's wrong.
Right.
Discussions are when you want to talk and you want to learn and you want to do something.
Yep.
But there ain't a lot of people out there these days that are willing to accept the conversation. They just want to argue till they're right.
How dare you have an opinion about my opinion? Honestly, that in my years of doing this, and I don't know why this is such a revelation to me. I've discovered that people are just flabbergasted that they feel like they'll use the phrase, "Don't affect my free speech." And I'm like, but then you get offended about my free speech about your free speech. It's like, what on earth? It goes back to what you said earlier about the person getting offended about you throwing a jab back at them. It's like, what are we doing here? Are we here to?
Free speech means we all get to say what we think.
Yes.
You get to say something about it. So.
And you can keep it lighthearted, or you can't, whatever.
That's the way the world runs, man. That's in nature. Is I have to be right, or you have to be wrong, or I'm not okay.
All right, sir. Give me a prediction for, if you want a score prediction for Saturday.
Literally do not care.
Do not care. Do you think we win? How about that? Do you think we win?
I'd love to beat Bama at our place, but we already beat them at theirs. But nothing matters but the Natty to me. And as far as spring ball comes, I don't care. What we're hearing now is who's quarterbacking this, that, the other. All I care about is results on the field. And it's going to wait. We're going to have to wait till, what is it, August 30th?
Yes.
Right? Yeah, we're going to have to wait till then. And we can read into all the sports jargon and everything else we want to. But at the end of the day, what matters more than anything is win.
It is true. It is true. What did Al Davis said? Just win, baby, win.
That's it. But I don't know if y'all noticed, I got me a new wrong hand. Albie.
There he is. I see him. Look at him. Very nice. Very nice.
A great piece before I get out of here.
Are you good? Show and tell.
Auburn Family. This
Ooh.
my grandfather's cap.
Oh man, vintage.
A fitted TPX cap, which you don't see
Mm-mm.
around anymore. And he passed away in 2005.
Well, you better put that like in a shadow box or something, my friend. Or are you gonna wear it?
I need to. Oh, I can't wear it. It don't fit my knob.
Okay.
A little bit too big around. But my grandfather passed away in 2005. And the reason that my family is an Auburn family
Mhm.
and members of my family went to Auburn is because he grew up in Pennsylvania. Now I'm adopted, but he grew up in Pennsylvania. My grandmother grew up here in Birmingham, and rode the train, paid his ticket, got on the train, rode all the way down here. And he said the fellow that sat beside him happened to be a Bama fan, and he never shut his mouth the entire train ride from Williamsburg, where the Little League World Series is. He played football at Lycoming College up there.
Yeah.
This Alabama fan never shut his mouth about how great they were. And this is in the late 40s until he got to Birmingham and got off that train. He said, well, who's your team again? The guy said, well, the Alabama Crimson Tide. And Pop said, who's their rival? He said, the Auburn Tigers. He said, what do they say? He said, well, they say something like War Eagle. He said, War Eagle. And he got off that train, and we have been an Auburn family ever since because some dumb Bammer wouldn't shut his mouth about how good they were before they had ever started racking up national championships. So, war damn eagle to everybody. It is so good to be back with y'all. I love each and every single one of y'all. I love talking sports, and I hope y'all have an excellent day tomorrow.
Thanks, Thomas. Really appreciate you, man. All right, War Eagle.
War down.
Oh, I put the wrong button on there. Here we go. I messed up the buttons. All right, I got my voice on, my head, everything. All right. 2 great calls this evening. I'll leave the phone line open for another second, but honestly went a little longer than I thought I would tonight. Thankful to Thomas and Kevin for giving me a break. So that's probably what's allowed me to do that. So with that in mind, what else do we need to talk about? Breakdown while I've got a last bit of energy and stuff like that. I can already feel my temperature spiking a little bit. I haven't actually had a true fever for several hours now, but it tends to come back up about this time of night. So I feel like it's going to be there at some point. Neil asked what's the latest on Denver Jones. Neil, usually I do a better job about getting those press conferences out for you guys on YouTube. And I don't think there was one today. Of course, I have been really just indisposed, and I couldn't tell you. So unless I've heard an official word from Coach Pearl, I got nothing for you. My suspicion is that there will not be one until tomorrow. So we'll probably hear something about that tomorrow. Definitely a key piece to what's going on. Where'd we go here? The game is tricky. They're on a 2-game losing streak. A&M was on a 4-game losing streak and beat us pretty much single-handedly. Also, if Alabama decides to crash the board, and Pat Adams calls it, yeah, that's a narrative that's out there right now too. I think it appears on the surface very simple explanations for why Texas A&M beat Auburn. I think it's just this. If it's anything simple, it's that Buzz Williams is just a dang good coach. And you got to give the man props for what he puts together and motivates his players and teams that he brings together. He did it at Virginia Tech. He did it here. I remember when he was announced as the Texas A&M head coach coming from Virginia Tech, I went, you're leaving the ACC to come to the SEC at Texas A&M? I mean, it's not the worst thing you could do, but what a move. He knew something was up. So he's a good coach. He's a good coach. You're saying, I guess no TikTok streams this week, not forcing, just asking, like I said. I had actually hoped literally every day this week, I would wake up and I'd be like, oh, I'll be fine about 2 o'clock, and then 2 o'clock. So here's kind of how things happen. Sorry, I know this is not Auburn talk, but this is kind of what happens sometimes. It's just life we like to talk about with you here. I woke up on Monday knowing something was going down, that I was going to have some type of, about 2 o'clock is when I was like, I'm down and out for the count on Monday. So that one was out the door. Yesterday, I was kind of like, there was a moment probably right before 2 o'clock where I was like, I might be turning the corner here. And then I went again. And last night was not great either. Today has been my best day. I actually look bright-eyed somewhat, and I sound terrible, which frankly is better than what else has been happening. TMI. Right now, I would say no guarantees, Micah, on the TikTok streams. Obviously made it through this one today. So that's an encouraging sign. I think really now at this point, it's dependent upon my voice. If my energy and whatever continues to improve, that won't be the issue. Will be, can my voice sustain doing a show? Because unfortunately, as gross as my voice is naturally, you'll have to deal with this as naturally as well. So it's a great question, and I appreciate your sympathy, though. You as well, Nate. Thank you all for the kind words. I appreciate that. All right. Here, seriously, any final questions, comments? I can round it out a little bit early tonight. I did want to get back in the saddle with you all this evening because of the just having missed so much time for vacation and then coming back in the sickness and stuff. And because this, basketball season always wreaks havoc with our Auburn family night time. And I really enjoy doing these. So I didn't want to miss out on another opportunity to do that with you all. So if there is anything we haven't discussed yet that you'd like to, let's get it in fast here before we get out of here. I think there are a variety of ways to get yourself right. I got my nurse here at the house. She is a lovely lady who takes care of me very well, and she has been giving me whatever it is that she needs to give me to get me back into ship shape here. WT asks, who do you think will be your final number 1 seed? Auburn, Duke, and Houston seem locks. I would say the only locks are Auburn and Duke at this point. And really, Auburn, I would say to be a true lock, they need to beat Alabama. Because if you go out and lose first game in the tournament, people are going to start having questions about that, I think, based off how the last game went and stuff like that. I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that's. So I'd say Auburn and Duke are the only locks. I think Houston is a great example of that, of a great option there. If Florida beat Bama tonight, is that what we're saying? Because I would assume with them being mentioned by others, that Florida just beat Bama, so that would put them high up in that category too. I think it's as simple as that. I off the top of my head, everybody else has taken a lot of hits lately. Auburn, Florida, Duke, and Houston seem like the best ones, but I think the only locks at this point, it's probably in this order: Auburn, Duke, Florida, Houston. There you go. So that would be how I'd do that. Yeah, thank you for that clarification. I figured that the way y'all were talking. Florida or Tennessee. Wow, voice is going in the last minute here. Tennessee was another one I was rolling around in my head, but I haven't looked at them enough lately outside of beating Bama. All right. I think that is my cue to call it evening. You guys have been great. Thank you for your patience this evening with my voice. Happy to be back in the saddle, and hopefully when we get back together this Saturday for the final home basketball game and the final basketball game of the regular season, my voice will be better. For those of you that follow on TikTok, we will hopefully have one at least this week. I can't guarantee it, but it may happen. But we'll see. But before any of that, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, being part of our little family within the Auburn family, and spending Auburn family night with us. Tell your friends, invite someone over, help us build up Auburn family nights on Wednesday nights. Until we talk to you all again, thank you so much for hanging out with us, and War Eagle.